Hi, my name is Jamie Morgan, and I'm here to share my story of recovery from morbid obesity with you today. I also want you to know that there's a message behind my message, and that is that we learn what is possible in mind, body, and spirit when we stop consuming processed foods or seeking magic pills and quick fixes to manage our health. Hey, there's no judgment here, because believe me when I say I've tried it all. That's why calling this a story about weight loss hardly begins to capture all the ways my life changed. I lost 235 pounds without surgery or pills, and that was just the beginning of my transformation. Today, 13 years into my journey, the integral pieces of the puzzle have finally fallen into place, and you may be surprised to hear that they have nothing to do with a number on the scale. I have the genetics that predisposed me to obesity, and I grew up in an environment and an era that promoted it. I've been told these factors doomed me to weight-related illnesses and failed attempts at dieting for life. Others just said I was lazy or weak-willed and just not trying hard enough. But in healing, I found none of that to be true. To finally be free of my weight and pre-diabetes, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, chronic joint pain, and mood disorders, I had to acknowledge the role processed foods played in my life and how removing them from my diet set me free from the prison of lifelong struggles with weight, progressive disease, energy slumps, and anxiety and depression. I was a happy child. I loved my family. I had many friends, but I was often judged and ostracized by adults and other children because of the way I looked. I turned to food to provide comfort, especially after my parents' divorce and loss of my grandparents. And I also turned to it after my mother's sudden death 15 years ago. I started sneaking food at a very young age. Saturday morning cartoons were sugary cereal fests. Weekly family dinners and birthday parties were filled with foods I loved to eat, and I often couldn't regulate my eating. As a child of the 70s and 80s, I was raised during the boom of processed and convenienced foods. The more sugary, fatty, processed, and packaged foods I consumed, the more I wanted to eat. Obesity is progressive, I learned, so my weight climbed with each passing year. I began overeating at a very young age. I was picky, so I chose cheeseburgers, french fries, pizza, and desserts over any fresh fruits or vegetables. My weight progressively climbed through the years, and formal interventions from well-meaning doctors and counselors fell on deaf ears. I would just stare blankly at them when they'd say, just eat half your usual portion, or why don't you just eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full, and push away from the table? Don't they think if I could have done that, I would have? Limiting my food wasn't something I was naturally capable of, and it became even more challenging as I got older. As a teenager with a driver's license and a job, I sought my fast food fix on a regular basis. Drive-through meals were my norm, often twice per day. My days were filled with junk food snacks, calorie-dense restaurant meals, and multiple servings of sweets. Simply put, the drive to eat ruled my life. At the height of my morbid obesity, I weighed close to and maybe even over 400 pounds, though of course I stopped weighing myself because I couldn't find scales that went high enough. I knew if I didn't heal my body and mind and escape the prison of mood swings and food-obsessed thoughts, that I wouldn't make it to my 40s. I also knew that sugary quick fixes and other diet foods wouldn't give me the lasting change that I needed. So in 2008, I began working with a dietitian and counselor whose collaboration guided me to lose the bulk of my excess weight over 4 years' time. This rate of progress was not only sustainable for me, but it also enabled the necessary healing in my body, mind, and spirit. After slimming down from a size 28 to a size 8, I was told moderation was the key to sustainable weight management. So I tried to moderate the quantity and quality of my meals. This triggered obsessive thoughts about food, basically putting a food monkey on my back. It was very simple. Whenever I ate fried, baked, processed, or packaged foods, they dominated my thoughts, my body's response, and managing my weight became extremely difficult. Even after losing all that weight, the drive to eat was still ruling my life, and processed foods' effects on my body were still imprisoning me. So over the next 2 years, I began exclusively eating whole foods and felt better than I could have ever imagined. The food monkey was finally off my back. My moods improved, my blood sugar spikes and crashes stabilized, my memory and cognitive abilities improved even more, and managing my new healthy weight became effortless. I was finally free from the hold food had on me. I was also free from anxiety and depression and couldn't believe how positive, upbeat, and joyful I felt for no reason at all. In order to recover from obesity, I learned that no quick fixes or short term solutions will create lifelong, sustainable change. And that is exactly the way it should be. In recovery from obesity, slow and steady wins the race, and there is never a maintenance mode. Healing from this progressive disease takes years because every aspect of our lives, environment, and lifestyles must be rewired and reworked. But I assure you, it's possible and it's worth it. Thank you.